G'day everyone, welcome back to this series on Japan's worst whiskies. We're doing part 2 of the Karuizawa's worst whiskey out of a litany of some pretty terrible whiskies are the ones I've tasted. There's been some good ones, been some average ones, been some middle of the road ones. These are some of the worst of the worst. This is part 2, and we're going to move on to another Karuizawa for TIBS, Tokyo International Bar Show, and WhiskyLive, Tokyo 2012 vintages 1999 and 2000. Marrying cask was cask 2565, and this one rang in at 61.6 ABV. Right, so on the nose we've got white plums, sweet glazed orange slices, burnt pie crust, a fair amount of oak, apricot, conserve, butterscotch, hint of nutmeg. Again, you have to work hard to find all that, like the other bottling of the TIBS that I mentioned previously. Palate, strawberry, burnt pie crust, grapefruit, and rhubarb stalks. Once again, water makes this very unbalanced and on the bitter side. Finish, okay, but not something you'd want to hold on to forever. Water slaughters anything remotely pleasurable about this whiskey, so even worse with water. And rating, I think, from memory is even worse. It's 75 out of 100 for this Karuizawa. Okay, let's crack on. Oh, here we go. Karuizawa for the Dave Broom School of Malt. Sherry, Dave Broom School of Malt? Sherry butt. The other Dave might have picked this one. Wasn't the best selection. 1991, it's 21 years old. Probably worth about $15,000 now, or selling for that. Not worth it in my opinion, of course, not even close. Maybe about $50. Cask 9091 at 63.7%. And I remember some of these, I used to just give them away to my in-laws, like my father-in-law and my uncle-in-law, and they would just use it as a mixer and mix it with dry ginger ale with some ice, because that's about all they were worth. So I'd taste them, do the notes, and just go, not for me. No, it's dried fruits, but this is not complex enough to separate them like the different fruits. Dry sherry, lemon, vanilla, quite a lot of varnish and oak to compete with though. Palate, I got mixed peel and other dried fruits. Like the nose, couldn't really separate a lot out of it, kind of a bit of just a mash-up. Bitter nuts, varnish, a little vanilla and burnt toast. Adding water flattens what is already a pretty basic experience. Finish, a bit hot. Dried fruits, vanilla, caramel, bitter nuts and some ash. Last word. Simple words, I just said simple. 78 out of 100 for Dave's selection there. Good job, Dave. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Again, what are these worth? I think I saw one of these for 20, 30 or 40. I don't know. It was in the tens of thousands of dollars. And this is the Karuizawa 1982 to 2012, so roughly 20-year-old Koi label bourbon barrel number 8497, 46%. I don't know if that's how it came out of the barrel or what. 46% from a single cask. Nose, vanilla, banana, toffee, grapefruit, apple, some burnt rubber and floor polish. Palate, pretty hard to get past the burnt rubber without adding water, also fairly bitter. With quite a bit of water, grapefruit, a little apricot jam, toffee, banana, licorice and ash. Finish, burnt rubber and bitter elements dominate. Ends with some ashy dryness. Last word, had this open for about 4 months now and seems to be falling apart, or it just was getting worse to my palate. Years later I tried this again. I would say it is better now after whatever it was, 4 or 5 years. But I gave it 70 out of 100 just. Let's go. Next up, another Karuizawa NOH 1982-2012 bourbon cask, again around 20 years old. Cask number was 8529 and it rang in at 58.8% ABV. And I don't know. This is not dissimilar to Cask 8497. I guess I must have rated that. You can look that up on the blog. Can't remember exactly what I was talking about then. Obviously another Karuizawa, but it was a sherry cask. Obviously a sherry cask. Maybe it was better or worse. But anyway, banana, grapefruit, orange, oak, pencil shavings, wood stain, and shoe polish. Palate, fairly brutal and one-dimensional without water. Burnt rubber, burnt banana, orange, caramel. With water you get a little sweet spice, treacle and bitter nuts. Finish, not much to it, a little sweet, a little dry, a little bitter and burnt rubber. Last word, not too flash, as we say down under. Rating for that, 73 out of 100. Wow, how is it 73? Karuizawa, aren't they the bomb? No. Again, it's a mix. But when I look through this list, Karuizawa had more whiskies in the black list never buy, again, I think out of all the distilleries I've reviewed. Okay, let's go on. Karuizawa, 1996 to 2008. So, distilled in 1996, bottled in 2008. Okay, cask number was 7387, ranging at 60.7% ABV. And I said on the nose, not a lot going on. Honey, fermented pears, wood shaving straw, burnt twigs, and bubble bath. Wowza. Palate, fairly simple. Toffee, rhubarb, nutmeg, burnt twigs, pepper and salt. Water makes this a little sweeter and adds a nutty element. Finish, honey on oats, burnt twigs and pepper. Last word, fairly average stuff, and rating was 78 out of 100. Okay, kicking on, I've got a couple more to go in this Karuizawa list of worst Karuizawas in the worst Japanese whiskies of all time. Karuizawa No, might have been the one I was talking about before. 27-year-old, this is the multi-vintage cask for Le Maison de Whisky, sherry and bourbon cask, 59.7% ABV. Okay, nose. Wow, how appealing. Chlorine at a public swimming pool shower block. It's, when people jump out of the shower, go to the public toilets, I'm not sure the chlorine, it goes all over, kind of like usually the cement floors. That's what it was like. Match heads, lavender, mixed peel and wet dog. I said it was odd. Palate, sherry, sweet orange, toffee, cloves, nutmeg and salt. Adding water either adds or subtracts to the experience. Finish, wet cement, toffee, pepper, salt, match heads and the chlorine again. I said it, my last word was not a total disaster despite the odd notes. Sounded like a total disaster when I just read them out. Anyway, gave that one 79 out of 100. 79 out of 100. Come on, at $20,000, $30,000. What are you talking about, Brian? Don't know what you're talking about. Okay, let's finish up this in part 2 of the Karuizawa's worst whiskies on the Japanese worst whiskies list. And I'm looking at the Karuizawa 1981-2012. G'day everyone, just had a battery go low, so let's kick off and just move on with the one I was about to mention on the last of the Karuizawa worst of, on the worst Japanese whiskey list, and we're going to talk about the Karuizawa 1981-2012 cocktail series by Le Monde de Whisky. Cask number is 162 and it was 55.8% ABV. Nose, lots of oak and sawdust, pineapple chunks, vanilla, orange, flint, charcoal, shoe polish and peanut butter. Palate, I got charred barbecue steak, ash, mixed peel, peanuts and a little salt. Water makes this tangier, like tangy citrus. Finish, very ashy and dry. Also some menthol and peanut sauce. And I wrote, look, it's okay, last word, but I've a number of $20 to $30 Japanese whiskies that are better. Enough said. You can look it up for yourself and see how much these things cost these days. Wouldn't bother. People are just buying them from investments anyway. They wouldn't have a clue what it tastes like. And I would say 90% of the people that actually buy these things have no interest in whiskey whatsoever, just in the resale market. And I gave that one 81 out of 100. Again, why is it on the list? You know, I'm only talking about anything under 80. It's just the price to quality ratio is disastrous. They weren't even that cheap back then compared to a lot of whiskies. So anyway, that's it. That's my part 2 of Worst Karuizawas of all time, or the worst Japanese whiskies of all time. Not sure what's going to come up next out of the brands, but I'll see you soon in the next video. Bye for now.